Oh, hey there. So last night, Gina and I watched a movie called Whale with Brendan Fraser, and he was a very, very obese man. Now, I want to point out that addiction is a slow suicide, no matter what that addiction is. Clearly, in this movie, this guy hated himself more than he loved other people. And so he hated himself so much he was trying to punish himself and just trying to eat himself to death, which eventually, spoiler alert, he did. And it was difficult to watch. It was difficult to watch him just filling himself up. Gina was like, "What's your problem?" I'm like, it's too much food. It's too much." But all addiction is that way, right? And his sin was on his body. Now, obviously, it was a fat suit, but his sin was visible to everybody. You could look at him from across the parking lot and be like, "That guy has an eating problem," and he is punishing himself, or he's just not taking it seriously enough to like deal with the actual problem. It's one thing to go, "I want to lose weight." Like, what are you doing to lose weight? Like, well, nothing. It's the same thing as saying, "I want to be sober," and you're like, "Well, what are you doing?" Like, well, I mean, nothing. Glug, glug, glug. Whatever. But I wonder if we could see through spiritual eyes, if that same morbidly obese person, because of overeating, if we look at somebody else that has some other sin that we think is not even that big of a deal, and we look at their soul, and their soul is equally as disgusting, but in a different way. I wonder if we could see people through that lens. Now, I don't want to see people through that lens, but I heard somebody say, we look out and we see suburbia, in America, there's wealth everywhere. There's poverty too, but there's plenty here. And we look around and we think, relatively safe place, so on and so forth. But I wonder if we saw that through spiritual eyes and we just go, wow, this is a wasteland. Grenades are going off and things are happening all around us, and there's battles going on, whatever. Because there's spiritual warfare going on, and there are people. The devil is the devil is strongly suggesting, screaming in our ear from lots of different voices for us to hurt ourselves, because he knows he can't hurt us. And so he's like, but if I get them to hurt themselves. And so we're voluntarily killing ourselves slowly, right? Through addictions of all kinds. There's just a long gamut of everything you possibly think of. Obviously, there's the simple ones. There's the overeating, and there's drugs and alcohol, and there's, pornography, and there's sex addictions, and there's, all kinds of things. But there's also gambling addictions and money addictions, and lots of things that we're putting, materialism, things that we're putting in the place of God, that we're allowing, that we hate ourselves to some degree so much that we just let this thing kill us slowly. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to not do that anymore. Maybe it's time to live our life, to put all that away from us and just go, I want to live. I want to be free from this cage that I've been in. I love you guys.